Good morning. Today's Friday, July 12, 2024, and this is your Friday safety meeting. My name is Dennis Davis. I work in the safety department. We're located in the Z building, southernmost building on this campus here. Ground level, center of the room, right next to the pillars. So if you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to stop by and we'll get you pointed in the right direction on where you need to go. We do this every Friday morning, 52 Fridays a year. John, I saw the calendar for next year. July 4th is on a Friday. So we got some decisions to make on when you're going to work, and I'll be taking that day off. And this Friday morning meeting will keep on going.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about that, yeah. But we are live here in Springfield, Missouri. So thank you to the folks there that are here live in Springfield. We are simulcasting at Pittston, Pennsylvania, and in Salt Lake City, Utah. And of course, we're live across the social. So welcome to the folks that are watching live or watching sometime in the future on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in and watching. So breakfast is free at all three of our locations. So if you haven't already placed your order, please jump in line, place your order. John Blanson and his team and his folks will get you taken care of. We are ever so appreciative of the work that they do. We've got some picnics coming up that these are the same folks that are laboring to get all of us hungry trucking professionals fed, both on Friday mornings and at each one of those individual events. So let's give them a round of applause just to say thank you so much for what they do. All right. Let's go east first. I think we got Rick Ifford this morning. Good morning, Rick. How you doing?
Whoop, whoop. Good morning.
Hey, man. Good morning. You got some energy up there. Love to hear it. Got some neon reflective vest up there. That means we got some new folks on the team. Tell us what you got going on.
Yeah, we've added some folks to our family up here. Yeah, it's a great week. We had a bunch of orientation folks, and I'm going to say a little bit, maybe 20 or so upgraders this week. So we're doing a great job. And I got Richard Brock standing here next to me. He's going to talk about the yard a little bit today, but yeah, fantastic week this week.
Awesome. Good morning, Richard. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. So we've got a couple of terminal updates. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
So we got a couple of terminal updates that I want to kind of give some updates on. We actually are getting ready to close on another property right here down the street. So that's going to give some relief to the trailer parking. I know that's been well on your guys' mind. So plans are already being made on that. We'll be getting some of the trailers off the yard here and moving them down there. There will be some construction that's going on in the future and some terminal updates as far as that goes. So you guys will see improvements coming and some relief in that. You did mention the picnic. I do want to talk a little bit about that. We will have some changes this year for our picnic. This year, we are going to have it down at the training pad. So it'll be able to have a lot more space, and we'll be able to utilize that space down there and have a lot more room to run.
All right. We're really looking forward to the picnic season. You know, unfortunately, that typically means, here in Springfield, it's Labor Day weekend. That's kind of the unofficial end of summertime. It happened fast, didn't it? We'll be talking about winter weather here in just a few weeks. So, but thank you folks here in Pittston. We're looking forward to spending some time with you guys at the picnic. Of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to jump on the microphone.
Hey, thanks for having us.
All right, let's go west. Who do we got with us this morning in Utah? I don't think we have any audio in Utah this morning, but I can see somebody there and I can see them talking. Hopefully they can hear us, but we can't hear them. So if you're able to jump up, I think we're here.
It's like John Greenlee.
Hey, guys. Hey, Dennis, I can't believe you said that W word, that winter, but just a quick reminder, everybody, temps are supposed to be over 100 most places across the country, so please watch reefer temps this weekend.
John, and you know this as a fleet manager, it's not about where the puck is, it's about where the puck is going. Summer's here. We should have been talking about that a little while ago. And we'll still talk about it in the present, but it's inevitable. I promise you. I know sometimes the weather changes year to year, but I can promise you the winter's going to come this year. Intermittent availability out in Salt Lake City, right? But that's okay. Really, we'll jump back on when we can hear you again. So right back here, Springfield, Missouri. Good morning, folks. We've got an excellent, lively crowd here in rainy Springfield, Missouri. As a couple folks have mentioned, we are right in the dog days of summer. We're past the halfway point. We're past the 4th of July holiday. Hopefully, during that holiday, folks got an opportunity to spend some time at home. If that's what you wanted to do, if you were out running, we definitely appreciate what you do. First week of the quarter, so we got some goals to talk about from a fleet manager standpoint, and some goals to reflect upon on what you did in the second quarter. So I do see some Neon Best here in Springfield, Missouri, so that means we have some new folks. So at all of our locations, if you are new to Prime, this is your first week, if you would stay in here for just a second, give us the opportunity to properly welcome you to the team. Go ahead, stand on up. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. You had a decision to make, and every trucking company typically is looking for the best drivers available in the industry, and ours is a little bit different. Some folks are already looking for experienced drivers. We look for those too, but we don't always look for experienced drivers. We want drivers that we can mold in the Prime way, that can come through our PSD program, Prime Student Driver Program, that we can really, for lack of a better term, create an avatar of our current drivers and create exactly the type of trained driving professionals that we want. So we appreciate you guys coming in and being part of that. Of course, we always see some familiar faces every week, so thank you guys that are veterans here at Prime, and hopefully we can get you in here and get you out as quickly as we can and get you back to generating some revenue. So, hey, good with me this morning. We've got John Harden. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, you didn't say one word in the first 9 minutes. You believe that?
I know. We should make that into like a weekly ordeal or bet. See how long we can go without talking.
All right, man.
So welcome to the Friday morning meeting here, especially everyone that this is your first meeting. Wanted to say a couple things about that. As Dennis had mentioned, our PSD program, if you're coming through that, we really believe in this program, and it's never too early to start thinking about your career and your future here at Prime. And there's a lot of money to be made in training here. So as you're going through the PSD program, getting your CDL, going through your TNT training, start taking notes and start, really looking and understanding and appreciating, that your trainer, your instructor, taking their time and helping you out in your business, getting your business started. And that's something that you can do down the road, can be very lucrative for you. So never too early to start thinking about that, but we're very glad that you're here. If you are here, we vetted you and you're the best of the best. So thank you for being here. So I'm going to jump right into the numbers. So last week we had 129 inspections and 89 of them were clean. So we had a 69% pass rate, which is outstanding. Give yourselves a round of applause. And coming through the holiday weekend, we didn't have a lot of unsafe driving issues, which is great. We'd love to hear that. Primarily, we were looking at maintenance and logs. So maintenance and logs, we can't lose focus of those, but very good on the unsafe driving portion of it.
So I want to share with you guys a conversation I had with, and I'm talking to our new folks here, a conversation I had with the driver on yesterday. Driver came to the yard, said, hey, I'm looking for my fleet manager. Fleet manager sits upstairs. Fleet manager had already left for the day, but that's okay. We had the fleet manager sitting right next to him, able to step in and provide the information that she needed. But since we had the opportunity, one of my favorite parts of really being a fleet manager and then being a safety supervisor was just be able to have conversations with drivers. help them achieve their goals, talk to them about what their concerns are, and just kind of talking through it. That's kind of what John and Dave and Bill and Rick get to do now. So I took that opportunity, since I don't get that opportunity a lot anymore, and had a conversation with this driver. And she was a little reluctant to talk to me at first. I can tell, but after just a few minutes of me badgering her with questions, she opened up pretty well. And she used a word that I often use, and that's craft, as in learn your craft. I often talk to new drivers coming into the industry, and even, some folks that have been here a while, about how important it is to take your craft seriously. So that means when you're going through that training process, we're not just, doing it to be doing it. Learn it, embrace it, love it, because essentially these are the practices and the procedures and the steps you take to keep yourself safe every day. Don't just do the pre-trip for the sake of doing a pre-trip because you have to do it to pass the test. The fact that you catch something during that pre-trip could potentially save your life or somebody else's. The way that they teach you how to back into tight spaces. Don't just do it to pass the test. Those skills that you learn during that training process, I promise you're going to get dispatched on a load. You're going to have to back into a tight spot, and you're going to wish you paid a little bit more attention than what you did, when going through that training process. So, the lady's name that I spoke with, her name was Cody. So shout out to Cody. She promised me she'd be watching. She's a fantastic highway diamond driver. We're talking to her, trying to convince her to get into the driver development program, because of course we always need, female trainers. But she had some good insights. She had some good questions. Some of her questions surrounded, the upcoming camera situation. So, definitely want to give an update on that. If you remember from the May 10th announcement, we said, we get to 300 as quickly as we could and then kind of take a pause. Well, we're at that pause point about now. We may have a very small inventory left in Pittston and in Salt Lake City. And I mean, under 10. So once we get those installed on trucks, we're at that pause point. We'll take a look at some things. We got a few bugs we need to get worked out. We got some contracts that we need to get in place with some vendors. And once that's done, hopefully, Brianne, fingers crossed, next month, in the month of August, we can get this thing going, and we're going to mash on the gas, guys. So for those folks that are kind of hanging back, thinking, well, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait and see what Prime does. Once we get those things in place, and hopefully they'll be done by the end of August, we're going to mash on the gas. We're going to get as many cameras as we can in trucks as quickly as we can. All right. So that means folks that are coming through the yard, we're going to be having conversations with you about, what your plans are. If you are one of our friends that are line drawn in the sand, I'm not getting that dang on Metrodyne camera. Let's have a conversation about it. And if I can't convince you that our goals as far as safety and compliance don't align with yours, then unfortunately we need to pretty quickly start having tough conversations about what you're going to do as far as your exit strategy. Harsh comments, I know, but this is the direction we're going, and we would love to have each and every one of you on board with us to move forward. If you don't, we hate to lose you, and then if you're somebody that we want to keep, we'll probably chase you down for a few months after this to ask you to come back. But, this is the reality that we're in. We're pretty excited about this new and exciting change. So there you go. There's your 2.5 minute camera update, John.
I appreciate that. And I wanted to add one thing to that. We've got probably some folks here at this table over here as well that were the line in the sand, just like you were mentioned. And now I don't think that you could pry that camera out of their truck if you asked them to get it back.
I'll bring one up. Bruce, come on up here. Bruce about punched me in the face, cussed me out. Bruce probably said some bad things about my mama when I announced it at driver advisory board that this is what we're going to.
I never
so
said
tell your story about
No, but Dennis is right. When this issue first came up at the driver advisory board, I remember going into the first meeting after we heard it was coming, and there was at least a half a dozen of us that went in there and said, brother, we're ready to walk out the door if we don't get this thing figured out. And I'll be darned if they didn't figure it out. And for those of us who have gotten it put in our trucks, I couldn't. I've gotten to the point now. I've had it for about 3 months, I think. I don't even know it's there half the time. It's just up there. It's doing its job every so often. It'll say, "Hey, stay awake, stay alert," whatever it's given us. And you're like, "Oh, wow, I didn't even realize I was starting to fall asleep." But thank you for letting me know. I think it's been a tremendous asset to have in the truck. I really do. I've seen times when it could have really saved me or saved somebody else on the highway. So, as Dennis pointed out again, I was not a fan of this idea at the beginning. I was one of those guys who was seriously considering when it first came up saying, do I need to find another company to go drive for? And I'm sure glad I didn't make that decision and that I stuck with Prime and am still here doing what I love to do.
Well, Bruce, we appreciate you being here. That was completely impromptu. Thanks for letting me put you on the spot there.
If you do have questions about it, come to one of us in the safety department, get it in your tractor, try it out for yourself, form your own opinion about it. Don't listen to maybe the naysayers on the internet or the social media groups. 90% of them don't even work here, I don't think, right?
I call it crowdsourcing facts. Facebook is a poor place to go to get information that's factual. If you want opinions, Facebook is an excellent place to go. They've got tons of opinions about things that sometimes they know about and sometimes they don't. So you got to get this thing going. You kind of rambled on.
All right, sorry about that, my fault. Hey, we're going to bring up log department this morning. We're going to bring up Alex. Alex came up here, was it last week or the week before? Alex is our newest log associate. Last week, and Alex said, I want to come back and talk. So good morning.
Good morning, Alex. And before you get started, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about, kind of just how difficult it is to get folks to come up here on Friday morning. So, Bruce didn't know he was coming up here, so I just kind of drug him up there. So it wasn't that difficult for him, but for our in-house folks that are on the lineup every week, I mean, they dread it from, Monday when we talk to them about it until Friday morning when they get up here. They're nervous. They're asking all kinds of questions. It's not easy for John or me or any of these guys to get up here and speak in front of a group of folks. But here, Alex is relatively a new associate. What has it been, about 30 days now? And he said, yo, give me the mic. I can do this. So let's welcome Alex. He was here last week, but first time speaker at our Friday morning meeting from our log department. Tell us what you got.
Morning, y'all. I'm going to keep it short. You might have heard about this 2 safety meetings ago. We're just kind of going over it. We did hear that we recently passed our inspections at a pretty decent rate, almost 70. I just think it's good to see the ones we didn't pass, not because we're doing bad at it, but to just get that number a little bit higher up there. So this is going to be about your Qualcomm running and its maintenance, as well as making sure that you have annotations on your logs whenever you make changes. So this is something that I found out because of a failed inspection. It turns out that DOT officers will go through your logs, and if there is no annotation on a change for a status, they'll write you up for it. Whether or not it's basic going from, yard move to on duty for something, they want to know exactly why it was done. And the second thing is, depending on how many times you do it, they decide whether or not they want to write it up for one time, or if it happened in 4 instances, 4 times. So it's just kind of, what's biting at them at that point in time. Qualcomm maintenance, I know it's a hassle. The thing sometimes fails here and there. For it, we have a few things we can troubleshoot. Won't take more than a couple of minutes. We're always happy to do that. And if we need to, we're always happy to help over the phone. So if we need to put you on paper logs to get you routed in at some point, we will do that. And we're also happy to help you get started with paper logs if you have any questions. I know sometimes you might have taken a log class a while ago and you may not be comfortable with it, but that shouldn't shy you away from, calling us and making sure that your Qualcomm is up and running, because that's another reason it's missing 3 days. With that, I wanted to mention the things that Logs does do. We do things not to be nitpicky. We do it because whenever you guys are out there, if you pass inspections, you stay on the road, you're making money, we're making money. So we do in-house service violation tracking. We do law classes Monday to Friday at 1:30 Central Time here, and then we also stream it out. So depending on where you are, just kind of do it based on your location for the time on that. We're a point of contact for any questions. I hear it a lot where a driver will call in and, apologize for hassling us, but I mean, that's the whole reason we're there. If you have any questions at all, even if you're not on the pilot program, if you have a question about you using PC, for example, please call in. It's not a hassle. That's literally what we're there for. And if we're not getting calls, sometimes we're just sitting there. And I like to work. So if you give me a call, I'll try to help as best I can for that. Let's see. And yeah, that's it. I just wanted to thank everybody for doing what you do. And again, if you need anything, admin logs, we're all there. It's 24 hours. Just, give us a ring.
All right, anybody got any questions for the law department? Let's give a round of applause. Man, fantastic job on your first time. Hey, we'll see you next week. He's like, no chance. So what we got next? What we got?
All right, we're going to bring up driver health and fitness next. We're going to bring up Colby and Rachel this morning. Good morning.
All right, good morning.
Hey, I think that he wanted you to hold on to your microphone there.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? So, yeah, you get to be with me today. So every week, we always talk about, and I appreciate it, we always want to have a health tip or something we can help provide you guys with. And this week, you and I had a conversation on the Prime Ways a while back about accomplishing something first thing in the morning or when you first wake, or creating a routine when you first wake. Could be breathing pattern, could be, making your bed, those kinds of things. Something that you can accomplish first thing in the morning. And you and I talked about it. Do you remember what you had said when we talked about it?
Eat the frog?
Yeah, well, you talked about you want to always try to accomplish the worst thing, right? Or something you really
The most challenging thing, the thing I don't want to do the most, I try to get it done early in the morning.
Yeah, and I love that philosophy because actually what you and I were talking about, the reverse side of it is you're accomplishing probably what you in your mind would say is the most difficult thing for the day is something you really don't want to do. And I love that, right? So as a driver or somebody on the road, we can do that, is find something that maybe we don't prioritize very well, and let's prioritize it first thing, right? So again, that could be anything. And for you guys and anybody, that's the whole point. And I would say challenge yourself give yourself 7 to 10 days. Give yourself 7 to 10 days and say, hey, I'm going to do this first thing when I wake, whatever that may be. If it's a 60-second stretch routine, if it's breathing, and breathing's very important for blood pressure and all kinds of things. That would be really important. There's a lot of things we could do. And so that was my tip this week is find something that we can accomplish or a routine that we can do first thing when we wake, and give yourself 7 to 10 days in a row and see where that takes you. And I knew you would love this.
That plays into the mental health conversation as well. And I call it new, and I guess it's been more than a year and a half now. My new job, got some really tough decisions to make, really tough conversations to have, really tough processes to go through. And I want to schedule those first thing in the morning. If I do a deposition, I don't want a 3:00 deposition. Get me in there, 8:30, let's go. Yeah. Let's get it over with. Let's have the conversation. Let's answer these questions. Let's get it done. If I have to have a tough conversation with the driver, I'm not waiting till 4:00 to call them. I'm calling them as soon as I can. 8:00, I'm wanting to have those conversations. Whether it's an in-house associate, have it first thing in the morning. That way,
Something you can do right off the bat that gives it the attention it needs. So,
and the second part of that is it's never as bad as we think it is.
Ever.
It's never as tough as we think it is, whether it's a tough conversation, whether it's a workout
it is the research we're talking about is it's accomplishing something, right? So the to-do list, the checklist, those kinds. So no, you betcha. So other thing I have, anybody have any questions for me while I'm up here? And Rachel's here too behind here. Anybody have any questions in Salt Lake Pittston, anything? Okay, I'm here to help any way we can, okay?
All right.
Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Very
Kobe.
much.
All right, good information. So let's bring up Terry Wood with our detail shop next. It's been a little bit since
Joining the meeting.
Access's website. This also unfortunately infects in-house folks too. We occasionally do in-house personal autos. That has always been $50 for 2-hour detail. Wash, tire shine. That too is going up to $75. On redesigning the headache racks. Constraints to deal with. We will have to have clearance for those APUs. We got to keep the tarps enclosed, but not saying that we can encompass everything that you want, but you won't get any of it if you don't bring it up. We need to hear from you. We've already talked to him about concerns with the chains pooling on the bottom of the headache rack. Our timber racks are not working for us at all. So now's your opportunity. It's going to take several months before we even have a prototype. So
Joining the meeting.
Believe how many people complain to the safety department about holes in the dash. And lo and behold, your here with a microphone. They're not in videos. They're out there, heat, cold, rain, whatever the case may be, but their creativity and their ability is second to none. You know, it helps us keep, you know, these lease payments down. It helps us, you know, drive up revenue.
Joining the meeting.
Now, I know I'm going to owe, so I'm not going to pay those taxes, right? We're all feeling that. I get you, and I understand that. That's why so many of them were extended this year. But and that you are going to be able to provide them to lower that taxable liability. So they're going to start penalties and interest on the numbers they have, not the numbers you're going to give them, right? Okay, so you want to be the captain of your ship and you want to be in control, and knowledge is power. So you have the knowledge right now to know that if I go ahead and file this and I can't pay it, I'm going to get in a payment plan, and we do those all the time. We set up installment agreements for our right? Okay, so that's what we're here to do, and that's what we're here to help you with. Come see us, find an accountant that can do this for you, and help you file those tax returns. It does not have to be Abacus, but find somebody that knows the transportation industry. Ask those important questions. Ask them if they know what certain things are in the industry, and if they don't know what they are, probably not the best place to be, because they're not going to maximize your deductions because they don't know. Doesn't mean they're not a good accountant, they just don't know transportation, okay? So make sure you're asking those questions. Now, there's other things that we're required to do too, and something new this year is called the BOI filing. So everybody that is a lease or owner op that has an LLC, you just had something else now that you have to do. You are required to do this. Betsy's going to talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, so a law was passed several years ago with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, which is a division of the U.S. Department of Treasury. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you to file information about you with state-issued ID information, so they can actually track who owns each business. So they can check for money laundering, crimes, and things like that. So anyone that has an LLC, if you set up an LLC this year in January, of 2024 or after, you have 90 days to file that form with the Financial Crimes Enforcement's BOI filing. I will tell you, we've had several drivers and clients come to us with scams related to this. So the criminals are actually trying to get even more money from you and get information from you by having you file false information with them. So it's really important that you pay attention to the mailing that you're getting at home, and you check for validation that it's correct, because we have seen several people even pay these criminals thinking that it's legit. So We ask you to go to the FinCEN website if you want more information. If you had an LLC set up prior to January 1 of this year, you actually have to have your BOI filing done by January of 2025.
Correct.
They have pretty steep penalties. We're talking about $500 a day that you're late on filing this form. Some of you may not have an LLC for truck driving. Some of you may have landscaping businesses. Some of your wives may have businesses and you have an LLC. They're all required to file those. Most small businesses, there's very few exceptions. They're generally for larger companies. So if you have a small business and you have an LLC and you're actively using it, you need to get this filed.
So just to recap, if you filled out and filed for an LLC this year, you have 90 days from the date that you filed. 90 days, then those penalties start. $500 a day up to $10,000. That's no joke. That's literally what they've put out there. We've got some documentation over here. There's a table over here that we've got them, but we've also got it on our website, abacustrucking.com. Go there and you can find a lot more information and some things about the scams. Now, you can do this yourself. You can file these yourself. This little questionnaire will answer a lot of the questions to be able to do that. So just know this is something you can do. If you need assistance, come see us. And we'll help you through that, okay? All right, thank you all. If you have any questions, we're right upstairs.
All right. Thanks to the Abacus team. You know, I like roads, I like schools, I like police and fire protection. I hate taxes though.
Same.
Yeah, but necessary evil, right?
It is.
All right, good deal. So we're going to keep it moving along. We're going to, one of the cool things about our company and these Friday morning meetings is that every week we've got a group of vendors that are here. So I just want to give a shout out to our vendors. They always sit back here in this corner. Go ahead, stand up real quick, wave to the folks. You know, just about every vendor we have, you know, and it's like 15 people that stood up over there that are representing our vendors. And we got one coming on up. So come on up, Philip. You know, we appreciate you being here. Philip is with Thermo King, and I think you've got some props. Do you need my help over here?
Yeah, we can pull it out here. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and introduce yourself and just tell me what you need from me.
Again, I'm Philip. I'm your in-house Thermo King rep. One thing I do want to bring up first is we ran into this yesterday. I didn't know this, but I knew about the weight certification for your APU. We had a guy get stopped at the scales. He was overweight. So I emailed it to him. But just so you know, we found out that is actually on your MyPrime app. So if you go under, it says Thermo King spec sheet. So that is on your Prime app. So I wanted to bring that up. Okay. So we're going to talk about high ambient temperatures with your APU. I know we've got a lot of them out there that shut down middle of the night or during the day when it's super hot. So you wake up, you're sweating. So one of the options that we have available to cure this issue is we've come out with a new louvered panel that goes on the side, which would be closest to the tandem. So if you're facing the APU, it'll be on the left side. So we've got these louvers in here now to help get some of that heat out of there. And then the other option is to remove the dust shield that's over the muffler on the APU to get that air flowing. So that's just some of the options that are available. If you're having trouble with that, be sure and get a hold of Road Assist or get a hold of me, and we'll see what options we can do. Of course, we do want to look at downloads and see how hot the engine's been getting, that kind of stuff. So thank you, Dennis. I'll set that there. Oh, thank you. One of the things you can do if you wake up, of course, if you have the Evolution Tri-Pack, you're going to get a red triangle. It's going to shut down. It's going to give you a code. If it's got an engine code, okay, with the hot ambience, it's probably shut down due to high engine temp. So first thing you need to do is shut the unit off, go out, check the coolant level, okay? So if it's really hot, you don't want to open that cap. There is a sight glass on the side of that tank. You'll see the red coolant level. So if you see red coolant, you know it's full, okay? Open that access door. You know, of course, is at night, you're going to have a flashlight. Look in there and see if you can see the water pump belt. Make sure that water pump belt's there. It didn't break overnight, so we don't turn the water pump. We're going to overheat the engine, okay? Other thing is to make sure your pre-cooler fan or radiator fan is on. So start the unit back up and go out there. If you hear that fan running, okay, we know the fan's working. Look at that pre-cooler. Look at your radiator. Is it full of dirt, mud, bugs, or whatever, from road debris? So you'll need a shop, or if you can get a hose and wash that out. So those are some simple things that you can do as far as the engine getting hot and overheating. And again, get a hold of Road Assist, and they can help you as well if you give you some other ideas. The other one you can do really easy is if you don't have a louvered panel, open that access door when you park at night. That'll help get that air out of there, okay? And then, of course, if it's hot, we're going to talk about air conditioning. I just want to bring up again, your evaporator is under your bunk or in your side compartment. Make sure we don't have stuff in front of that. Make sure that blue filter is visible. We keep some space in there so the air can circulate. Make sure that filter's clean, okay? And then the condenser that mounts on the back of the cab for you flatbed guys, somebody brought it up. We need to be sure and keep our tarps and stuff away from that condenser so we get some good airflow on that, okay? Any questions from anybody?
I've got 2 questions on mine.
Okay.
First one, can they get that panel for the APU and how much?
I don't know the price, to be honest with you.
Okay,
Okay. It's under $500, I guarantee you.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and second one, will it fit on a Gen 2 tri-pack?
Evolution or the original tri-pack? The original tri-pack, we don't have any. I mean, some of the owner ops do, but so yes, it worked. We have an Evolution, which would be the second, and then the tri-pack 3 is the new one. They fit on both. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But yeah, just the pricing really just came out on this. They updated it, and I don't know, but I can definitely get you a price. Okay. If you need to get a hold of Road Assist or parts department here at any Prime location, we'll get you a price for that. And it's really easy to put on. So.
All right. Any questions for Philip? All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yep. Thank you. Yep.
Just another quick shout out to our vendors. That's one of those things that other companies don't have. They're just those little things that Prime does that a lot of other companies don't have. So we really appreciate you guys being here every Friday and being available to assist our drivers and our in-house folks on getting their challenges taken care of. So,
The majority of them sit right up there by us in the safety department in the Z building. So if you don't get a chance to talk to them, if you're not here on the yard today, they're in here Monday through Friday typically. Come by and see safety, and we'll go over and introduce you to them.
all right, who do we got next?
All right, we're going to bring up Derek Hausman. Derek is a refrigerated fleet manager. Looks like Derek's bringing a guest with him this morning.
Ready to eat that frog, Greg?
Yeah, I reckon.
So Greg made the mistake of being here during the meeting, so I had to drag him upstage with me here. We've done a lot of talking about claims. We've talked a lot about bills and those sorts of things. One of the things that you guys all know already is that we've got to have good working equipment, right? So before we get to these shippers, when we get to the O1s, even if it's not our load and we're dropping a trailer, we want to make sure that it's good, clean, dry, full of fuel. I want to put Greg on the spot here and let him talk for just a second about what we need to do to prepare these trailers and make sure we're ready for the load.
Thanks, Derek. What I do, the first thing, you can do a full pre-trip on a trailer like you're supposed to. Next thing is make sure that you do a electronic pre-trip on the reefer and make sure it's good. And what I usually do, if the reefer fails the first pre-trip, I cut it off, cut it back on, do another one. Usually it'll pass. If not, get the code, send the code to Road Assist, and they'll let you know whether or not the reefer needs some repair. Make sure the reefer's full of fuel. Obviously, when you're doing your pre-trip, you're checking to make sure the chute's good, it's clean, there's no holes in the walls, anything like that. And that's just anywhere you drop a trailer, whether it's at a shipper receiver or here at the yard, clean and full of fuel, do a pre-trip on it, make sure it's good to go.
Thanks, Greg. So he's a part of our driver advisory board, and he's also a former trainer of the year. He's trainer of the year still in his own heart, I'm sure, but he does a great job for us, and that's why I wanted to bring him up here. But when we look at these claims issues that we sometimes have, we find oftentimes that it's as simple as making sure that we have good information. Look at the bills, review those. We've asked, circle the temp, circle the delivery address, make sure that that information is correct and matches what you've got on your dispatch. If it doesn't match up for any reason, we don't want you to roll and call us and ask us about it later. We want you to get us on the phone. We want you to do the live depart process. You know, we've had in the past that some folks say, well, I've waited on hold, or I can't get on the phone with somebody in live departs. Call your fleet manager. You know, if you're still waiting, take it to the next level. Let's go to a supervisor. There's always somebody that we can reach. Like Dennis said, we've got over 2,000 people here. There's 2,000 helpful folks that want us to do a good job and protect all of our incomes. That's what it boils down to. So we've had a couple of instances here recently where we've had some dry loads, which in some cases, I know it's easy to say, well, this is a dry load, no big deal, let's just roll. Well, we ran it at -10 based on what we thought we should be running this on, and we end up claiming an entire load. Okay, so just because it says dry doesn't mean let your guard down. Let's make sure we're still following the process, circle the temp, circle the delivery address, initial those things. So if we do have an issue down the road, we know exactly what steps we've taken. We know exactly what we need to do to fix the problem. And more importantly, we've got the right, correct information. So with that, any questions? No questions. Frog eaten.
You mean to tell me you guys got no questions for a fleet manager in the refrigerator division, one of our best? Throw them something high and hard, stump them a little bit. Maybe next time. Thanks, Derek.
Can't believe you didn't have any questions for him.
Oh, I'm sure somebody will have some questions for us. We'll let you answer those.
We can answer those. We're going to stick around after the meeting anyway, so we'll be over here, come up and ask them.
Yeah, so like most of our speakers stick around here in Springfield after the meeting. If you're at a different location, Pittston or Salt Lake, there's, you know, just as equally talented folks there at those locations, probably even smarter, that can answer any questions that any driver may have, or, you know, point you in a direction of somebody that can answer them. So,
speaking of smarter, how many folks in here know everything there is to know about the Prime app? How many people think you could learn something about the Prime app? Me too. Right? If you have any questions, you're here in Springfield, we have two experts right here, Richard and Brianne, so please come up here and ask them. This is not a question that you can come ask Dennis and I at a later date. Please ask them all your questions.
You're not an IT guru?
I'm not.
Me neither. Me neither. That's okay. That's okay. So, of course, it's Friday. You know, we've got on red. I'm looking around the room. There's a whole bunch of red today, so that's always exciting for us. We do this every Friday. It's an acronym, RED. Remember, everyone deployed. So if you serve this nation of uniform, you defended our freedom. We want to say thank you. And if you would just stand for just a second to give us the opportunity to honor our veterans. You know, this is always a good opportunity to put people on the spot. And I'm looking in the room. Typically, we would have Steve Wucky come up here and speak, and he's going to come up here, but I'm going to bring somebody else on up here, and he knows who it is. Daryl, come on up here. Give him a round of applause. You know, our typical lineup will be, you know, Steve Wucky, our Vice President of Sales and Marketing, and then Robert, our CEO and founder. But since we got a few minutes today, how about we let the President speak? Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm used to that title. Well, I'm going to set up Steve then, because I'll just be honest. One of the things I've been thinking about is really just how proud I am of Steve and our sales team. I don't know if you guys realize, I mean, everybody knows how tough this market is. What you may not realize is how much pressure our customers put on us to move those rates down. I mean, it's constant. And our team has done a fantastic job. I believe this company recognizes how important what you do is, the value of what your service is, and how premium of a service that our team provides here, our drivers. And so Steve and his team have done a really good job of saying no. I mean, our drivers are worth this. We're not going to take this rate. And that's a scary deal to do, because many times what happens is in the bid process, then you don't get quite as many loads. And that's tough. It's really hard to hold your ground. But what we hear then, because I sit and I listen to these sales meetings, is how the customer's coming back. They took them away, and then the people they went with who don't provide the same level of service that you guys do every day, well, they start failing. And so next thing you know, we're getting calls saying, hey, can you cover these lanes? Can you cover these over here? And guess what? It's at the rate we told them originally, because that's the only rate we'll give it to them at. That's hard to do. And these guys do it every day. So, I mean, if there's a job I don't want right now, it's Steve's. It's not easy. And I know we make a lot of fun of him because he's pretty easy to make fun of. But it's a difficult job, and they do it better than anybody. So I just wanted to come up and say thanks to Steve and the whole sales team. We have some great sales folks up there, and they are working every day to make it better for you guys. So, Steve.
Hey, Daryl, thanks. You know, we're only selling what you all give us to sell, and you give us a terrific product. I appreciate those kind words, Daryl, but really our thank you is to our operators for what you do every day. You have the tough job, really. Man, sometimes it's okay. It's okay to let these customers taste Brand X, you know. Brand X sucks. Brand X does not touch what you all do. And I can tell you right now, we could load you every day, twice a day, at $1 a mile on anything. That's not going to work. You know, that's not the way we roll, because we'd have a yard full of trucks. So we have a strategy. It's a tough one. We embrace it. We got leaders that believe in it, and we're going to continue. But we are seeing the volume pick up. That's really the good news. And so proud of everything you do. What does break my heart is when we do something simple like not check the bills versus what the download was to you. So we freeze a load of canned goods, or we heat up a load of meat because you did not do your homework and check the bills. It's just part of the responsibility. And I know sometimes we like to shortcut the system and just say, look at your phone rather than look at the bills and do your check call, and really did not verify what the actual temp might be. You know, we had a couple of these just last week, and it is terribly frustrating because you all work way too hard for your money. And it's really a simple process. Just validate the temperature. Just compare. And as Derek said, if you see it and it doesn't match, call right then, and we'll get it corrected for you. We'll give you a good answer. Don't be a victim. Please do not be a victim. Get an answer from somebody. Protect yourself, protect your company, protect the customer. It's all good. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all very much for what you do. Daryl, thank you for those kind words. Our sales group, our sales coordinators, our entire team, our off-hour people, our maintenance people, we're all in it together about providing service, and that's really what you all do best. When you have a high level of service, you just don't have to match the low price to get the volume. So please remember that. You new folks that chose our company, we're proud of you. We thank you very much. We hope you did your research, because I can assure you we did our research on you. So enjoy, embrace it, be a sponge, soak it up, and remember this: safety is our highest calling. You have a very dangerous job. We got a bunch of four-wheelers out here that are trying to wreck you. It's a crazy deal, but you just got to protect yourself once again. So thank you very much for what you do. I'm going to bring up the guy that started this company a few years ago, Robert Lowe, the CEO and owner of our company.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good to see you all. Good morning. Hey, we got a room full of winners here. We really do. I mean, it's incredible the job you do and the service you provide our customers. And they love it. They like low price, but we ain't going to do that, right? Steve explained all that. We're worth it. So we're going to price it like we're proud of it, and we are proud of it. Proud of what you do. You do it very, very well, and I too thank you for what you do. You know, sun's shining, it's summertime. Freight's starting to slowly improve a little bit. You know, we can see a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're looking forward to the future very much. This is a great company because we've got great folks. Again, I thank you for what you do. God bless each of you, and please be safe out there.